Yokoso and Ohayo gozaimasu. 名前はかいくいはです。Yes, and konnichiwa. Welcome to Manga 101. This will be Mangaka FAQ number 2. This is more of kind of an add-on to the first FAQ. Sorry. I'm holding the camera with my hand. Yeah, kind of sucks. Alright, here's a little thing that you want to know. Everything that I said in my first video of the FAQ number 1, it still runs true. It's still pretty much, the basis. Okay, here is some add-on information. First of all, when I was talking about was the manga telephone books, that is what we call in the States. Back in the days when I was a kid, that's what we called the monthly mangas that came out of Japan. They were about the size of a freaking telephone book. That's what we called them. But okay, the companies would be like Shonen Jump, Koro Comic, Bestu Comic, Cookie, etc., etc. Alright, here's the thing with those. They all have the same guidelines, alright? So, the guidelines are inside each issue, and they do have the contest every month. So, yeah, send your submissions in. Okay, one story per entry. Okay, this is how it works. The best way of doing it, I'm serious. If you're going to go, let's say, with the Japanese mangas, okay, let's say you already have your manga completely finished for submission. I don't mean like volume number 1. Even if you do have, let's say, volume number 1 filled out, just only give them a small sample of it. Create like just only a few pages where it specifies in the submission guidelines, which is usually around 28 pages or so. Okay, so depending on what you're sending in, are you sending in like a story? It's going to be like about 28 pages. I don't have the book with me right now, but I did. Then, so you can look at FAQ number 1 for that information. I'm going to put it also on the doobly-doo. Alright. Alright, here's the thing. All the monthly mangas that you read, let's say you read the Japanese ones. Even if maybe you don't read it, you just like looking at the pictures, or you trying to learn from it. Well, get the ones that you like. You have your story, submit to all of them. Seriously. Have your same mangas submitted to every damn one of them. Because maybe one of them is going to probably pick up yours as, hey, this is a candidate we like, and you'll end up in each round. Just remember, each level, let's say you don't come in the grand prize, there's the second, third, all the different places. A few of the places actually get prizes, and there's only so many people that end up in that category, second, third, fourth, places, and then the grand prize, which is your shit is actually submitted, actually in the damn monthly issues. Kind of cool. Alright, so some other things. Alright, people want to know does this work with all monthly mangas? Well, or magazines? Yes, it does. But remember, the states have different guidelines. So check the magazines for, even for your country, make sure you go with the guidelines within that country. In Japan, typically they want the story in Japanese. Let's say, I don't know Japanese too well. Well, you can still try to submit it. They'll accept, submissions from all over the world. I've asked the companies. I've even emailed them, and they've emailed me back stating, it doesn't matter where you come from. All it matters is that your submission follows the guidelines, and that if they like it, they will send you information and you can get money from it, Just think of the grand prize is more of your first payment for my glasses are fucked up. That's why I'm fixing them. Okay. Other things you want to know. What size paper that I use? Well, with mangas, I typically go with the traditional route, which is a B4, and other times I use as an A4. I don't do the submissions anymore because right now it's just too much work to try to submit it in with all these other things. It takes too much time and too much money, and yeah, it does for me. Yeah. Because I don't do just one submission on one. I try to do a lot at once. And it can get costly. But you have to spend money to make money, I guess, So my route I'm trying to do is, well, do it on my own. But I need help. I'll tell you more about that. Okay. Let's say you don't want to go this way, or you're just sick of I'm sorry, your work is too Japanese, or it's not good enough for us, or I don't think that your work is compatible with our clientele, or whatever, your stuff is too violent, too graphic, too this, too that, or whatever. Or they say nothing, or they tell you that it just plain sucks. Well, here's the thing. You might want to do it on your own. Let's say you don't even want to try to submitting your shit. Well, to do it on your own is going to cost some time and money, but in the long run, you'll have more of a gratification that you were able to do it yourself. Alright, here's how you're going to be able to do it on your own. You can go to a few sites that you can actually upload for free, but there is some catches. Okay, comixpress.com, comixpress.com, and Kablam, I think it's kablam.com. Those, one of them is actually completely gone. The other one, it's floundering. But basically, I'll tell you later. I'll put it in the doobly-doob of the information, because I don't have it off the top of my head right now. Okay, with those, you can make an account, put your stuff up there. Just make sure it's like one big file, everything's in there, but not like everything as one image file altogether. No. Have it as several separate image files, numbered, Usually those sites will tell you exactly how you label each page. Okay? And then have it in, I think they want you to have it in Adobe Acrobat file, basically a PDF file format. Alright? Yeah. It'll be a lot easier to submit it that way. Okay. Or have it as a zip file and they unzip it and all that. Or whatever, on the sites it'll tell you how they want it submitted, done, via the internet. Okay. With those, to pay for, you have to actually pay for the first issue. Yes. In other words, you pay basically for your first copy. And you send, it's one copy that you're sending it to yourself, really. You'd say, well, that's the proof version. No, it's your copy, your first copy. Let's say it turned out all right. You can have it up on their store, and yeah, they'll sell it for you. But it's your job to try to get the word out, let people know. So sometimes you might have to do several copies, and trying to do is sell them to local, comic book shops and stuff, or go to your conventions and actually, getting a table, an artist table, and just selling some of your shit and stuff, Yeah, some issues of your manga and stuff like that. Okay. Here it's not as long as it used to be. Okay, here's some other sites that are very similar but a little bit different. Okay, everyone knows of DeviantArt. Alright, I don't have to explain that. If you don't know, go to them. DeviantArt.net, I believe it is. Yeah. I had a few sites that, pages or whatever, accounts there. And some of them, I forgot about them, and they're like kind of dead. There is a new one. I haven't put anything up there yet. But I will put a link to it. I'll do is upload my shit onto that. Just pages of shit. And when I get enough stuff, I'm going to send it over to MangaMagazine.net. Or you can go to it. When you type that in, it'll probably come up as InkBlazers. InkBlazers.com. With that, it's the same site. By the way, it's the same freaking thing. Because I put in MangaMagazine.net, and I got was, even in Google, it said that. So, yeah. Alright, InkBlazers.com. Basically, it's kind of like Facebook, how it's set up, sort of. Kind of. Well, it's your profile page, anyways. Basically, with that site, you can do is upload your files and stuff like that, your pictures and your pages of your comic book, even try to make a whole entire one thing. And people get to read it online for free if you want it. And you can also have it set up to where people sell your shit. They can actually buy a physical copy. Well, there's also Lulu.com. That's more of a traditional book route, sort of. It's a print-on-demand site, a pod, POD. Same thing, but they typically go for, the standard books, not really graphic novels or comic books. Okay, so that's basically with that. I hope I got the sound right. Alright, a few more things. Pens that I use is basically Pentel ink pens. I use is markers. Well, I typically, if markers, I happen to use is Copics. Alright, and my coloring I like to use is Copics, but also is Pico. Pico are pretty good. They're cheaper, smaller, but they're just the same. About, I had a few of the pens where I guess it was overloaded with ink inside it, and it just leaks and leaks. But it's like really simple. I drop down and spread. It's like, I use that for more of the splash pages where I'm just gonna do large amounts or just have overlay of colors, just do these weird effects that I've been working on and shit. And I've seen other artists do other things. Alright, here's a little thing that you probably didn't know. Most people don't realize it. That outside of Japan, most people call Japanese comic books or graphic novels as manga. Well, in Japan, yeah, that is their technical word for it. They don't use it. They call it comic. Komiku. Komiku. Okay. Which means comic or comic books. Also with, 4-column, which is a column of 4 images, Actually, they don't say 4, they say, she. In Japan, they typically call it comic books. Yeah, they don't call it manga. Because typically, when you're talking about manga, it really means is any graphical image. Alright? So that means, if you're going for the full list of what is manga, manga is pretty much anything that is a graphical image. It started with, with posters and also with calendars. Back in the Edo era is when it became really freaking popular. And then when you get closer to the 20th century, that's when it just solidified in everything. Alright? Especially after World War II, you had was the American comic books, which, basically inspired Japan severely in the comic realm. And same thing with anime, the animation department as well. So the two kind of linked with each other because they were obsessed with American comic books. So they made their own. And they had them on all different types of stories. And they still do. That's what makes their comics different than other countries. Because, like in Europe, a lot of the comics is mainly going to be political than anything else. Their tone. American, it's more of social issues. And it's, a lot of times, ours are really freaking violent. Just is. Japan goes all everywhere. They have comic books about the daily lives of people, a fictional account of somebody actually becoming president of Japan, the first president of Japan. That's actually a comic book or a manga. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it with that. I had other questions like what type of pencils I use. I happen to use a variety of pencils, but like you've seen some of my videos, just on the basis of my beginning drawings and stuff, I just started off using was a photocopy blue graphite. Yeah, and I don't try to do it too dark. I just want it dark enough where I can see it. And then I'll do is, ink over it. Because I really hate going over pencil and then ink. And then when it dries, and then you erase. It's kind of a mess. Same thing with the blue one. You don't really have to erase so hard or much. That's what I use. When I do use pencils, I like using a variety of hardness and softness of pencils. The H's and the B's. From all the way to an H9 to a B9. That's the full spectrum. Yeah. There is no H1. It goes H, H2, H3, onwards to H9. Then the other way you have is HBF. Alright, you have HB and F. Now, F is actually above HB, that's towards hard. And then, if you're going like H9, go all the way down to H2, to H, F, HB, then B, then B2, all the way to B9. That's how it works. I typically like using is F. I like F a lot. As a kid, I had was HB or the basic number 2 pencil, the Empire pencils, you just do this and then they turn into rubber, it's an old trick. It works. Okay, this video is going on pretty long, so see you next time. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'll tell you why. Oh, shit.